So the video you're about to watch is actually a trip we took to Kelly Springs recently, and I figured we'd sit down and talk about a couple things that we liked and maybe disliked about the park, and a couple little tips and tricks on what you could do if you decide to go. I'll tell you from the beginning, we live about 2.5 hours away from Kelly Springs, and we decided to get there an hour early, which turned to be 30 minutes early, and we were lucky enough to get a spot. Do some research on Kelly Springs Park, because they only let about 280 cars in the morning. And how they do that is everybody lines up outside the park in their cars down the street, and then the sheriff comes by and gives you a ticket to get into the park.
And we were like 3 cars. We were like the last 3 cars to get in. We were still like 30 minutes early.
Yeah, we wanted to be there an hour early. We were only there 30 minutes early because we had a late start. So we were lucky in the fact that we actually got a ticket to get into the park. Morning, guys. We're here. Where's Liam?
In the back. He's like, where?
Ooh. We got our ticket, so we're going in.
We're probably 279.
So they said we can leave the line. You can't get in without this ticket. So I'm excited. We were running a little late this morning. Wanted to get here about a half hour ago, but luckily we were still able to get in. Now the good thing about the ticket is even if you go there, or if maybe if you guys are close, you don't have to get the whole family up and out and get them there an hour early. Someone just gets in line, you get a ticket, and on the ticket it actually says that you can leave the line, and as long as you've got the ticket, you can get back in line, because just because you leave the line doesn't mean you lose your place. You have the ticket, you can go eat breakfast, go pick up the family, and if you're fortunate enough to live close enough, you can do that. Not an option for us. We did leave the line. We went to the gas station so we could use the restroom, because we were on the road for 2.5 hours, and stretch your legs and stuff like that. So we did get back in line. Once we got back in line, the line started moving. Now the park opened at, 8 o'clock? No, it was 8. I think it opened at 8. By the time we got into our parking spot, it was 9:15. So it takes a while to get all those people checked in and paid. It's pretty affordable. I don't remember exactly how much it cost.
It's like $5 for the whole vehicle, or $10 for the vehicle.
It was something pretty cheap. I think if you have a big vehicle with a lot of people, they might charge you a little extra, but even at that, I think it's less than $15 to get in.
Video of me eating breakfast? Come on!
They do let you bring your own tubes in. I mean, you can rent tubes there from vendors outside the park, but they let you bring your own tubes in if you want, which we did. Luckily, we had a couple really nice tubes with the bottom, with the mesh bottom, which made it a little nice, and it had the backrest. We did get a couple cheap tubes from Walmart for the kids, and Liam actually preferred not to have a tube. He likes to just swim around and go through the rocks. There's a couple of these deep parts in the river that you can kind of swim through, so he enjoyed doing that. There is a restriction that your tubes can't be more than 5 feet. Now, I don't know if anybody really enforces that, but there was signs that this says your tube can't be bigger than 5 feet.
There were a few people with the big ducks and stuff like that, though. So I didn't see anybody telling them that they couldn't. But
They probably didn't enforce it.
yeah.
When you get to and you'll see in the video, but when you get to the place where people like sit around, there's like a big swimming area. There's plenty of places to sit in the shade. There's places to sit in the sun. We grabbed a place in the sun, but if we were to do it again, maybe bring a beach umbrella or one of those pop-up tents or something like that. Not that it was really needed, because you can find a shady spot, but we were one of the last people to get into the park, and a lot of those primo spots were actually already taken. So really wasn't a big deal at all. They also have picnic tables and things throughout the park that's obviously away from the water. We brought lunch stuff. We brought cooler, drinks. They do have a concession stand there, So if you just want to bring some money, well, they got the full concession stand there. We didn't need any of the food, so we don't know how good it is. But they have that, and they have the facilities, which I think are probably one of the worst facilities that I've been in. It was just really humid, hot, and messy, and it smelled real bad, and it was really just kind of disgusting.
Well, the girls' bathroom too. Like there was nowhere to hang up your clothes while you're trying to change. You would have to throw it over the top of the stall, and my little one dropped her shorts in the toilet because there was nowhere to hang anything, and there was nowhere to like move around, and to shower you had to go outside and then rinse off and come back in the bathroom, and again there was just no space to even set a bag down to be able to change. It was pretty bad. They really need to fix that.
I was a little upset based on that, but then I started thinking about, if you go to the beach, the facilities at a beach are just the same. You have an outdoor shower, you got a little stall. It doesn't really give you the ability to like change and stuff like that. And I'm coming from a mindset that we're 2.5 hours away. We had planned, we brought dry clothes to change into, and we were kind of expecting there to be really nice facilities, or at least decent facilities, so you didn't have to, put your dry clothes on the top of the toilet while you try to change out of your wet clothes. And the only showers they had, which we really weren't going to take a shower there, but the only showers they had were outside. They weren't like inside stalls showers or anything like that. That was probably the most disappointing part of the park. Everything else is great. I mean, you walk down this trail, which was less than 10-minute walk, to the spring head, where it was a big area you can jump off a little rock and go into the water. The water was a little cold, but it was actually pretty refreshing because we went in the middle of summer. There was tons of people there. There was little rock, I wouldn't say caves, but like things you can swim up underneath the rocks, and a lot of people just hung out there and just kept on going up and jumping in, and the girls and the kids like that. But once you got in the tube and you floated down, it probably took, I don't know, a half hour, maybe. It went all the way down, and then it opened up into this big swimming area where you could just swim if you wanted to, but then you can catch the tail end of the river that continued to go down to the end, and then it had a trail that walked back. And to walk all the way from the end of the float all the way back up was maybe 15-20 minutes at that. So, and it was all within the park and everything. There's all trails, and it wasn't bad at all. I feel comfortable letting the kids go, and you want to go again, go ahead. They went up and they floated down.
Oh, the only thing, remember the walkways, like where the bridges were, the ground was super hot.
Yeah,
so.
that was disappointing. The bridges themselves, they were painted like a dark brown or something like that, and so they kept the heat. So walking across, we got halfway across the bridge and you thought your feet were going to burn off.
Yeah.
Which is really a poor design. So maybe bring some flip-flops or water shoes. All the rocks and stuff, they're pretty much smooth rocks, but there are some sharp edges. So if you wanted to protect yourself, and like I said, the majority of the river, with a few exceptions, it's a foot or two deep. It's not deep at all. So if you have little ones that can't swim or are afraid of that, you're not going to have an issue.
Yeah.
But there was some fish and some wildlife. I will, being a Floridian, I was a little nervous swimming in fresh water. I mean, this is the first time, I'm 40 years old almost, and first time going to one of these springs in Florida, and it was a little strange jumping in fresh water, but you could see it was crystal clear. But we came across turtles. There was a snake that swam across it. The guy was right in front of us. He freaked out because he was just swimming across, and the snake just some birds and some fish and stuff like that. But you got to know in Florida, any fresh water, there could be alligators, turtles, snakes, things like that. So you got to keep your eye out. But there's so many people, I guess, that just you just stay in the water and you crystal clear, so you shouldn't have an issue with that. But
Definitely working.
it was, yeah. I mean, like I said, this is the first spring I've ever been to. Apparently, she had gone about a year or so ago to a different part of this. I guess you go a little bit further, there's like a place you can rent kayaks and stuff, and you can kayak up the further down part of the river up to where the tubing ends. And the cool thing about that is when you start, you basically start kayaking against the current. So the hard part, you know, getting up, and when you're done, you just turn around and you kind of float back in the kayak. We did a hiking thing after we got done with the swimming, and we decided to go hike. And that was an experience in itself with a bunch of young kids. There's horse flies that were just attacking us constantly. If you stopped for 1 second, you would get bit up by these horse
They
flies.
hurt too.
But we saw locusts, we saw a gopher turtle, but we did come to a little part where the kayaking area was, and technically you're not supposed to swim in that area. I guess it's, you know, the water's not as clear, and you get to a point where you know, you might feel a little bit more uncomfortable or a little less comfortable swimming in an area like that. But we went in because we're idiots, and there was
kids. It was the kids.
Yeah, it was kids. But there was some kayakers that had stopped and was taking pictures on this big tree, and we let the kids jump up on the tree, and they had, you know, it was a really cool little area, a little bend, S-bend in the river. But you know, I would definitely do it again. There's no doubt about it. The only thing I would probably change is the fact maybe bring a couple chairs to sit on or something like that, and maybe some water shoes. But other than that, yeah.
And once we left, there's like tons of other springs in the area. So I mean, if you do miss getting into that park, there's a potential that they can get into another one of the parks because there's so many in that area when we left.
Yeah, once you get north of Orlando, apparently there's a lot of places up there. When we were leaving, we took a different way in. We kind of went by another park, and it's like, you know, it seemed like there was a lot of stuff to do up there. I will tell you that if for whatever reason you don't get in at the early morning hours, they say that they'll give you a ticket to come back at 1 o'clock, and they'll start letting another group of people in at 1 o'clock. So, but you still have to get that ticket in the morning to be able to get you back in the afternoon. And also, if for whatever reason you get in the morning and you need to leave for any reason, you're not getting back in. Definitely, we give it 2 thumbs up. We'll do it again. We'll definitely
Yeah.
will. There's some camping around there. I think that they actually have a campground part of this park too. Once we start camping, maybe, hopefully soon, we'll be putting that on our list of places to go since it's not too far away. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe. We're going to be bringing out a lot more videos.